Welcome back to another Pokemon Throwback Thursday, where every Thursday morning we take a deep dive into a new set. We're going in complete order, so the set we're checking out today is Fusion Strike, and then of course we're going to be highlighting a certain Pokemon, and we're going to be checking out their best cards in Pokemon history, and that is going to be Lapras for today's video. And we are going to do a giveaway today. All you got to do is make sure you're subscribed. You got to hit that notification bell, hit that like, then you got to answer the question of the day. What Pokemon do you guys like better, Pinsir or Heracross? This is a card we're giving away today, beautiful Magneton promo. And for the giveaway that we did last Thursday, since I pre-recorded this, I'm going to put it down below in the comments. So make sure you guys check the comments, see if you guys won last week's giveaway. And we do have to get things to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Punch-Out Gaming. This is my local game store that I go to, and it's the #1 game store in all of Minnesota. Nobody can beat their variety. Definitely check them out. They're only located 30 minutes north of the Twin Cities. Tell them Pokebeard sent you, and they will take care of you. I'll have all the links in the description. And then if you guys want to try tag rating for your first time, you can click the link, use code BEER10 and get 10% off your first submission. And same thing with PSA. Click the link, use code BEER25, get $25 off your first submission. And I just got a VAULTX affiliate, which is super, super cool. Click my link and use the code BEERX25 to get a nice discount on your first order. But all right, let's get into it. We have Fusion Strike. This set came out October 30th, 2021. Total set value is $2,194. And this set was slept on for a very, very long time. Especially, it doesn't have trainer galleries. So those last 4 sets that we got have trainer galleries. So there's a lot, more art, better art in some of the later sets in Sword and Shield. But when you actually look at the set, it was kind of a no-brainer. Gengar, Espeon, 3 Mews, 4 Mews, and a Celebi. Just that alone. I mean, when you have some of the most popular Pokemon in the world in one set, it's tough to beat. We got the Gengar VMAX Raw at $891, the Espeon VMAX at $313, Mew VMAX at $220, the Mew V, which I like much more, at $110. The Rainbow Mew VMAX is now moving, $104. Even the Celebi V is back up to $100. And even just the regular Gengar VMAX is worth almost $50 now. And the Full Art Mew V is at $35. The Genesect V Alternate Art is $29. The Inteleon Alternate Art is $27. And then we got the Mew VMAX at $19. The Greedent Alt Art at $14. And even the basic Gengar V is at $12. And even the basic Mew V is at $9. So if you guys got a bunch of Vs laying around, be careful because this Gengar is pretty expensive. And this super sick, if you look at it, it's got a nice background actually. Pretty sick. All right, let's check out a couple individual cards here. We got the Mew Rainbow VMAX with a pop of $3,500 and a 10, $1,500 and a 9. Was at $152. Now that's sold $330 and $349. And then raw, we got sales all the way up to $100, like $110. But there's still a ton around 70, 80, and 90. Next, we have the Celebi V, probably top 5 best alternate art artwork in the Sword and Shield era, in my opinion. It's beautiful. It says a pop of $8,400 and a 10, $7,900 and a 9. It's at $285 and a 10. Now last sold $425, $430. We got a PSA 9 at $114 and a PSA 8 at $60. And raw, we got a ton of them now over $100. Next, we have the Mew V alternate art with a pop of $6,000 and a 10, $5,500 and a 9. See, that was the thing in the Sword and Shield era. A lot of cards were pretty easy to grade. And a lot of stuff in the Scarlet and Violet era and Mega Evolution era are not. But the Mew V was at $260 and a 10. Now last sold $449, $455, and $470. And then we got a PSA 8 at $88, PSA 9 at $114, $127, and then raw is right around $100. Next, we have the Mew VMAX from Fusion Strike with a pop of $8,000 and a 10, $3,600 and a 9, so even easier to grade. This is at $379, kind of leveling out now. We got one at $430, $570, $460, and $510. And we got a couple PSA 9s here at $238, $229, and one at $150 with no info. And then for 9s, we got one at $238 and another one at $229. And then raw, going to be like over $200 for sure for this card. Next, we have the Espeon VMAX Alternate Art. This is a pop of $12,000 and a 10, $6,300 and a 9. We got a PSA 10 sale at $773, a 9 at $321. And then TCG player right around that 9 price, sitting at $300. And the big boy, the Gengar VMAX from Fusion Strike with a pop of $14,000 and a 10, $9,400 and a 9. This was at $1,600. Now that's sold $2,700. Another one at $26,000. And we even have one at $31.25. Then we got TCG player price at $892 and eBay at $811 for raw. Next, we got the sealed products. We have the Fusion Strike Sleeve Booster. Was at $19. Now last sold $28, $29, 18 of them at $28. Next, we have the Fusion Strike regular ETB was at $260. Now last sold $349, $339, and $350. And here's the Pokemon Center ETB was at $380. Now last sold $499, $492, and $505. And here's the booster box, kind of leveling out. All last sold right around $1,100. All right, we are getting to Lapras. Got to go from lowest to highest. Check out some of these cheaper cards. So Lapras doesn't have a ton of arts, but all the arts that Lapras does have are pretty cool. I mean, just look at this one from Paldean Fates. I mean, that looks like a painting. Just absolutely beautiful. Same with this one from Obsidian Flames. I mean, just happy as can be. We got the 151 Lapras, Fusion Strike, Stellar Crown. You know, lots of cheap commons and uncommons. We got the Misty's Lapras from Destined Rivals. Got the Pokemon Go Lapras. Yeah, tons of cheap ones for sure. We got a basic EX here at $2. Got the Lapras V at $2. Got a Lapras GX at $3. We even got the Holiday Calendar Lapras at $4. Another nice art. Got the Next Destiny's Lapras Reverse Holo for $4. That's sick. We got the Lapras Shiny V at $450 and the regular V Full Art at $550. And we have the Terra Lapras EX here at $5.99 and the regular Lapras VMAX at $6. All right, now let's check out the best card. So we just got a brand new Lapras revealed for the 30th anniversary. Could possibly be one of our best Laprases ever. I mean, having Psyduck in there. We got Shaman right there. I mean, this card is top tier. Super, super nice. Very curious to see how hard it is going to be to pull. Next, we have the Misty's Lapras from Destined Rivals. I don't like this one nearly as much as the one we just looked at. But this one is difficult to grade. 3,100 in a 10, 7,100 in a 9. Got up to 425 and now come down a little bit. Last sold 330, 359, and 375. And then raw, it's about a $40 card. Next, this was my favorite Lapras before the new one, and I still think this one might take it. It's just so clean, very realistic looking, and we're getting multiple Laprases. This is a pop of 1,500 in a 10, 2,900 in a 9. This is at $135. Now last sold $285. We got another one here at $250. And raw, it's about a $20 card. Next, we have the Lapras EX Gold Terra. This is a Black Star promo. This was at $80 in a 10. Now last sold, we got one at $150. And then raw, it's like a $10 card. Next, we have the 7-11 Lapras promo. Thing's pretty cool. Last sold in a 10, $160, $200. And we got a bunch of PSA 9s at $30 and $46. So raw would just be a little bit cheaper than that. Next, we have the Lapras Rainbow VMAX. This is a pop of 1,500 in a 10 and 166 in a 9. Was at $55. Now that sold $70, $75. And then raw, it's like a $15 card. And here's the same exact art, but this is the VMAX Shiny. This is an $8 card, and it has a pop of 1,940 in a 10 and 424 in a 9. Was at $46 in a 10, and now last sold about $60. Next, getting a little bit older, Sun and Moon base set, we got the Lapras GX. This card does pop. The blue background, even though there's nothing to it, it just sticks out like crazy. It says a pop of 293 in a 10 and 354 in a 9, kind of leveled out. All last sold between 130 to 150. Next, same art, but the rainbow version with a pop of 268 in a 10, 390 in a 9. It's got up to 385 and now last sold 280. We got a PSA 9 at 37 and then raw. It's going to be like 20, 25 bucks. Next, we have the beautiful Lapras Reverse Holo from Legend Maker. This thing is sick. It says a pop of 36 in a 10 and 113 in a 9. Last sold for that 10, which was a couple months ago, is at $22.47. It's almost $2,500. We got an 8 at $165. We got a 9 at $404, and then raw. And for raw, it's going to be around $100 if you even want this thing somewhat clean. Next, we have the Lapras EX from Ruby and Sapphire. This is a pop of 54 in a 10, 423 in a 9. And last sold in a 9 is 743. And the last PSA 10 sale, which was a little bit ago now, was for $8,125. And then raw, TCG player says about $120. Next, we have the Lapras Reverse Holo from Skyridge. Everything from Skyridge is pretty expensive. It says a pop of 26 in a 10, 63 in a 9. And last sold on eBay's $940, but that was a very old sale because we have a PSA 9 sale here at $900. So this card would sell for probably $9,000 now in this market. But check that art out. Just feels so hand-drawn, you know, that old school art. Next, we have the OG Lapras from Fossil. Remember, there is an unlimited version, but this is the first edition. It says a pop of 120 in a 10, 1500 in a 9. Last sold in a 9 is 587, and last sold in a 10 is 11,288. And then raw kind of ranges, but it's going to be closer to $90 for, you know, near mint. But sometimes you can find them for like 50, 60 bucks, and they're pretty decent. And the last English Lapras is the Southern Islands Lapras with the Dratini in the background. This is a pop of 306 in a 10, 426 in a 9. Was at 225. Now last sold 511 and 510. And raw, we got one at $50 for lightly played. We got a PSA 7 at 51 and a PSA 9 at 199. Now we have a couple exclusives here. We have the Prices Lapras. This is a Versus card. Thing is absolutely epic. This is a pop of 48 in a 10, 65 in a 9. And this was at $222. And now last sold, we have $899. And then for PSA 9s, around $108. And then raw, let's see what we got here. Lightly played at 30. We got a bunch in the teens. We got a PSA 9 at 57, but that was a little bit ago. So not too expensive. And next on the list, we have the Misty's Lapras, also a Versus card. The pop of 178 in a 10, 113 in a 9. Last sold in a 10. We got 565 and 660 and 620. And PSA 9 at 135. And then raw, we got 60 for a near mint lightly played plus. And last on the list, we have the Vending Series 2. We got a PSA 10 Lapras here at $615. Another one at $575. Got the Pristine 10s at $299. It's quite the discount. And we got the basic CGC 10 at $227. We got a 9 in a PSA at $107. Trying to look for a raw. We got a CGC 8.5 at $52. So that's probably going to be, you know, near that raw price, probably like 30, 40 bucks. But all right, that was this week's Pokemon Throwback Thursday. If you guys like this content, want to stay ahead of the market, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. If you guys want to support more, check out my Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube membership, all that. You guys know what to do. You guys are the absolute best. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you guys want to watch my newest vending video, you can click above here. Otherwise, I have an entire playlist full of all my other vending videos. If you guys could check those out, you know, give it a like, leave a comment, give some high points. I would really, really appreciate that. But otherwise, we'll see you next time.